Dull grey days like this one, they really can be motivationally challenging, can't they? We tell ourselves there isn't a photo to be had because the sun's not shining, and that's just not true. It's just a different picture to be had because different weather conditions produce different lighting conditions. I am down on the shores of Lake Pfäffikersee, where we run the Zurich Masterclass, which we've just finished. We've just had 2 glorious days of sunshine. But today it's a little bit more challenging, but it's just different, you know. We've got all sorts of shots of these boats here and in different lighting conditions, but I thought I'd come down here and just show you that it is possible to take some interesting shots even when the sun's not shining. In fact, what's interesting me the most here is this sky. I really like this sky, and one of the reasons I'm very dark in the viewfinder is I'm letting the camera see more of the sky and a bit less of me because I'm possibly a bit less interesting. Now, what would we do with a shot like this? You can see we've got our little boats going on down here. We've got nice, calm, shiny water. There's a few reflections happening. So, let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can find a photo. Now then, let's have a little look through my camera. I may get in your way a little bit here, guys. Sorry, because I don't have a camera person. We have no Ben today. Now, let me see if I can just spin up a bit of video for you. Here we go. Now look, it's very easy to think that just setting the lens wide is going to give you the best shots because we've got all these boats here and it's very easy to think the horizon in the middle, but look at the edges of the picture. The boats are sort of cut off, you know. This one over here is kind of cut off in the corner of the frame, and these two over here are very close to the edge of it. I don't really like that very much. Sometimes less is more, sometimes less makes a better shot. So how could we redo this? Remember, I'm only using my little 18 to 55 lens, which most cameras come with. You don't need anything terribly fancy. What I'm seeing are the N4 boats. Look at these 4 down here. Now, I know it's gone out of focus, that's just the way it is, but look, you see, if we bring that down, we're starting to get a reflection down there. You stop the video and refocus so that you can see it a little bit better. Here we go. Look at those boats just at the end. With the trees up there, we've got the docks going down the lake. I think that's quite a nice little picture. Possibly we could include more boats, I don't know. Always experiment, zoom around. I think it's just the N4, but I also think if I go lower, if I kind of crouch down here, we're going to bring the sky a little higher in the frame. We're going to bit more sky, and we got the reflections. I kind of like that. So all we got to do is shoot our picture. Can you still see me down here? Woo-hoo. All we got to do is shoot the picture. So what do we need? Well, I'm only using a 200 ISO because I've got enough light. My lens is on 55mm, so that's full stretch for this. I don't know, middle aperture, but a good nice depth of field. I'm only going to go to about f9, f10, somewhere around there. f8 will be plenty. That makes sure my shutter speed is fast enough I won't get camera shake. I just compose up my shot. I've got a little duck just appeared in shot there next to the boat. You can see it. I don't really like it, but there we go. I'm going to focus on the boats. You don't really need to think too hard about where to focus with a shot like this. But I'm going to wait for my little duck to disappear there. It's less noticeable in a shadow. I kind of like that. I do kind of like that. There's probably other alternatives that can be taken, and what is kind of interesting to me is down here we've got some docks, and I've taken some sunset shots down there with a phone, which you may have seen in another video. So I think I'm going to take a walk down there and just see what kind of shots there are happening at that end. As I say, I don't have Ben, so sorry guys, I'm going to have to wobble you around a bit. On the way down to the docks, I've just kind of been looking across the lake over here. Now you probably can't see it in the video because it's a long way off, but there's a kind of little line of light cloud running across the opposite shore. Let's see if I can capture it for you a little bit in this one. Here we go. There's that little band of cloud. I like the grey on grey, and can you see there's this church spire there? And there's something about the grey on grey that I kind of really like, and that kind of reflection in the water. So that's kind of interesting me, and I like these clouds. Now, again, with grey days, this is about motivating yourself to go out and shoot some pictures. Why do I look so dark in the video camera? So that's one question I know many of you are going to ask. It's because of that bright area in the sky just there. Eyes and cameras see light differently. The camera can't cope with me in the shade and the light and have the two kind of balanced. Our brains can do that because our brains make an HDR image through our eyes. Cameras can't do it. That's why when you take a photo of someone in front of a window, you often get a silhouette. I'd love to claim that this is my heavenly aura, but unfortunately it isn't. So let's challenge ourselves. Let's challenge ourselves. The light's not great, the weather's not great, but let's challenge ourselves to see if we can find some pictures. Now, some of them will work and some of them won't. Never be afraid to make a mistake, because that's where opportunity to learn something new lies. This shot might work, it might not. But these are the sorts of things that you need to do when I tell you to practice. So let's have a go at this shot. Now, I've done something almost unheard of in that I have put on my long lens. I know I nearly always shoot with the 1855. I popped on the 55-200 because I couldn't see that far shore if I kept the 18-55 on. So let's just take that shot. You kind of saw what I was thinking. When I was looking through the viewfinder when I shot that last bit of video. Now I think my exposure, what have we got? The camera's telling me, what's it telling me? Let's have another look. 500th of a second, f9. Why won't it focus? It's probably because it's a little bit lacking in contrast. So I'm going to find, there we go, we're focused. Something for it to lock onto. 500th of a second at f9. My histogram is telling me that, yeah, that's pretty much in the middle. There's a little bit of a peak, which is the sky. Now, yeah, that's about right, because it's all quite dull over there. Now, I am actually going to tell the camera to increase my exposure. I'm just going to take it up by 2/3 of a stop, because I'd rather shoot a little further to the right and get more data. And then I know I can work with that when I make my raw file when I go to Lightroom. Let's have a look. So that histogram, yeah, it's kind of in the middle. There's two spikes. When people tell you that a correctly exposed histogram goes up in the middle, complete and utter bullshit. It only goes up in the middle if the entire shot is made up of mid-tones. What we've got here are some dark tones and some brighter tones, but almost no perfect mid-tones. So the histogram is U-shaped and it's a perfect histogram. There's a lot of myths out there. Just be careful, guys. Now, something else which is interesting me on the far shore as the light's changing is this kind of mistiness. We've got a little bit of blue starting to come into the sky up here. Come on, camera, wake up. Show the lovely people the blue. Here we go. Here we go. There's a little bit of blue going on up there in the clouds, and that means what? If you've done the 7 building blocks of photography, it means it's a blue hole, and therefore the light might change. Don't know. But I'm also seeing over here, pulling focus, I can't focus. Can I get that to focus? I can't. I'm going to have to stop the video. This is one of the drawbacks for me with this little camera, which I love. But look at that mistiness on the opposite shore. Doesn't that look cool? Look at those trees, yeah? See on the right of the frame? I really like those. I don't really like the little ducky thing going across the water. It just looks like a black spot. Something you need to spread cream on. So I'm just going to shoot that one as well, because I really like the thought of capturing that mistiness. Now, as I look to the right, actually, there's a couple of bits that are... What's it like? I think I like this bit with the church, but instead of having it where we had it in the first shot, I'm going to put the church to the right, because it kind of tapers down. Let's try that and see what it looks like. Focus it up. Here we go, 320th of a second. F9 is going to be plenty because I'm focusing well beyond the infinity point of the lens. What I'm really interested in is that sky, and then I can bring it to life a little more later on. Let me just whiz down here. It's about keeping your eyes open, guys. Whenever you're out photographing, just look around. Don't spend all your time thinking about who bought the latest lens or what lens you want for Christmas, because you'll miss things. You see, look, I quite like these trees and those guys on the dock. I don't know if I'm quite far enough out, but if I extend the zoom a bit, no, you know what? Is it working? It's almost not worth taking, because it's the background that I'm interested in. It's the sky going on behind. I'm not even going to take it. Be selective with your shots. Go home with shots that you think, I'm really pleased with that, but by all means experiment. Now, my experience of having done it for years tells me that ain't going to work, so I'm not going to shoot it. But I'm not entirely sure about the one we just shot over there. It might. Let's carry on down the bank. see what we can find. Days like today are brilliant days to come out and practice your photography because everything's always changing. As I left where we were just now, it just started to rain a little bit and I just noticed some little spots on the water, and then a bird kind of jumped in the water and there were some little ripples. Now, there's nothing technically challenging about a photograph like that, but it is challenging for those of you that say, I don't spot the picture, I don't see pictures. How do you see pictures? I'm asked this all the time. This is how you do it. You go out on your own, not with someone else, because someone else will want to talk to you about other things, or a family member will want you to hurry up. You go out on your own and you just immerse yourself in where you are and truly look around to see if you can find shots. Now, you may recognize this location here from a video I did, I think it was last year when I was here, and we were shooting this with a phone. Now, if you compare the pictures from last year with now, you see how the difference in light? There was a sunset in that one going on over here, and I ignored the sunset because I like the light on the docks looking down this way. Okay, so right now today we've got a couple of guys, they're fishing on the dock, it's a grey day, but I still think it's quite a nice little life sort of a photo, you know, it's quiet, we want a quiet picture. How quiet do we want it? Well, very, because it's a grey day, it's a weekday, and they're out fishing together on in the murk, in the mist and the damp. So how can we utilise this shot? Well, look, we're on one of my favourite little wooden docks. And we can use this dock where the wood comes up here. We can shoot straight down here and use it like a leading line off to that dock over there and get a nice shot of the guys. But also, if you look on this side, we've got a little bit of the bank, we've got some trees, a bit of greenery. Now, since we moved from over where we were just now up to here, notice how the light's changed? So the far shore, it's not quite as detailed, it's not quite as interesting, but never mind, I still think it'll work as a sort of dull day shot. This is what I mean, practice. Challenge yourself to find photos in conditions you think are less than ideal, less than inspirational, and less than motivational. Because when you do, and you go somewhere that is inspirational, that is motivational, that really lights your light, if you've practiced in these conditions, you're just gonna nail it when you go out there. Get off your ass and go and practice. Take some pictures and enjoy the experience. Enjoy the smell of the lake, the smell of the air. Just take yourself somewhere different. Right, end of lecture. Taking a picture. So if I kind of pop up my camera here, roll a little bit of vid. So look, we've got this natural leading line here of the dock, which leads to the other dock. But they're quite small, and this gap in here between the guys and the end of this dock, it's kind of like it's a bit too big. I'd rather that was a smaller gap. So how can we do that? Come on, think. Use your brilliant brain. Think. How can we do that? Really simple, isn't it? We bend our knees, because composition and alignment is a function of arms and legs and hands and knees. And look at this gap in here closing. You see, as we get lower, we can almost make it disappear. But I don't really want it to. Somewhere there is good. And then I'm thinking just the end two posts, I might increase the focal length a little bit to bring that background up. I think I prefer it like that. We've still got a little bit of this greenery going on over here. Good job. Take the picture. What's next? Come on, think it through. What do you need next? How much depth of field are you going to want for a shot like this? Think it through. You need enough to kind of get this dock sharp and that one. What aperture is that? I don't know. You've got to remember, camera settings that I use are useless to you. They're of no value whatsoever, because you'll copy my settings and it won't work because the light's different. The light is changing around here all the time. And if you copy my settings, it won't work. You've got to learn what the settings do, then you apply them to the shot you want to take. So let's find out, what aperture do I need to get the depth of field that I want? I'm on about 30mm focal length. Let's go back to our composition. Focus on the end of the dock, I reckon. Now, if I was to take down to a small aperture, let's go in about, I don't know, f18, somewhere around there. That's probably going to be enough. Focus on the end of the dock. And then just compose our shot, make sure it's level, check the exposure looks good, and take the shot. So how do you know if you've got enough depth of field? Well, you can get hyperfocal distance calculators, but don't get it myself. I think there's a much easier way. You just go in the back of your LCD, you zoom in to about 100%, don't go beyond, Because if you go beyond 100%, everything will look soft and soggy. Yeah, so I'm zoomed into 100%, I'm looking around my LCD, and sure enough, the end of the dock, and the guys on the other dock over there fishing, these guys, I think they're there somewhere, they're nice and sharp. This is all it takes, guys. That's all it takes. Just a little bit of thought and a little bit of practice. I don't know if I'm going to take any more shots down here. I might hang around for a while and just shoot a few. And if I do, I'll post them on the end. Because behind you, as represented by this video camera that you're looking at, is a changing sky. Look. You see? It's changing. Now, when I got down here earlier, there was a blue hole. Possibly that one. I don't know. But look, it's brightening up. We might have some different light. If I take some more pics, I'll post them on the end. If you found this little video useful, please, like, share, tell your friends about it, because you doing that helps me make more free videos. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to watch my videos on my website, they all come with a free accompanying article, which often has some additional information. So if you click on the little thing here, sign up to my newsletter, I'll send you some free tips. We're going to revisit some old stuff and sort of keep you practicing, keep you in the groove, but I'll also let you know whenever there's a new one, and you may get some other cool, good stuff as well. So please, share it around. I'd love to hear your comments below. Any questions you've got, pop them down there. And if there's some more pictures to be had, I will, of course, share them with you. Take care, guys.